Peel, president of the Billfish Foundation, and I welcome you tonight to TBF's first, and I hope last, Virtual Gala. We all know 2020 and COVID-19 has brought challenges to us all. Challenges, though, that you and our sponsors are helping us get over. Tonight's event is going to be a wonderful evening at home, welcoming all of you and presenting the Lifetime Achievement Awards to 3 outstanding individuals. We couldn't do tonight's event without you, without our sponsors, and all the bidders for the silent auction. So thank you so much. Please join us in person next year. We miss you so. We're gonna party hardy and have a fabulous time. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Peter Chaibazai. I'm the Director of Conservation Programs for the Billfish Foundation. Thank you for coming tonight. Big shout out to our sponsors like Garmin Marine, Costa Sunglasses, Galati Yacht Sales, Viking Yachts, Grady White Boats, Release Marine, Dekit Marine Products, Viking Service Center, Outrigger Yacht Products, and the Recreational Fishing Alliance. Their support allows us to be the leader in billfish conservation and to provide a voice for the offshore recreational fishing community. Be sure to support them. Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful. I so appreciate Peter recognizing the sponsors, because without them, we couldn't do this. And while I was hesitant initially, thinking, no one's going to put money in for a virtual event, to my pleasant surprise, most all of our sponsors came back on board and said, sure, you're not responsible for this event having to go virtual. We're all in this together, and so we are sending our checks for sponsorship. But in addition to sponsors and those of you who are viewing and hopefully supporting in whatever way you can, we and I could not achieve the successes we do without staff. You've met Peter, but I also want to recognize Adrian Katz and Faith Wiener, who have done a fabulous job in getting this event together and carrying on our important programs each and every day. We're a small team, but we're mighty. Thank you.
If you're Will Flack, you don't just go fishing. You get up at 4 a.m., get your motor going. Get this motor going. Sun's up, shades up. Pick it, tie it, stretch it, haul it. Dang it. Let's try this school. Nope. Best restaurant ever. You were gonna be back by 3. 3-ish? 6-ish. Bonefish, 2 o'clock. Strip, strip, strip. Hit it, kiss it. That's it. Okay, your turn. And now it's a fishing trip. For those who need water to breathe. Costa sunglasses.
Let's begin the first Lifetime Achievement Award presentation tonight with the John Rybovich Lifetime Achievement Award. The name Rybovich is, of course, synonymous with fabulous sport fishing boats. But to John specifically, he was a young board member, or I should say an early board member of the Billfish Foundation. He was very interested in conservation and responsible fishing. He started several tournaments, the Tournament of Champions, the Gold Cup, the Masters. He was instrumental in starting the West Palm Beach Fishing Club and served as its president for 10 years. He wrote articles on the need for conservation for magazines, at least for 10 years. But what I think you and most of us know him for was he took the fabulously designed and built boats that were built and designed by his brothers and turned them into phenomenal sport fishing machines by adding new features that had not been done before. He added a tower, he added a transom door, aluminum outriggers, bigger engines, all those things, a salon that we take for granted now, was John's idea to say, we want a fast, comfortable, efficient fishing machine. And by golly, he did it. So this next award that we're going to present honors John and the winner of this year's award for following in his footsteps in furthering responsible fishing and conservation. Thank you. Well, Chris, I want to say it is an honor to be here with you today and your family. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Billfish Foundation, our staff, and all of our constituents, want to say it is a pleasure to recognize your outstanding fishing abilities, your skills as a world-class captain. Not only have you caught over 35,000 billfish, but in doing so, you have remained a top ambassador for responsible fishing. You've used your energies not only to catch the fish, but also to teach others, those who are novices, those who wanted to improve their skills, learn new techniques. And we all know great stories of you working with youth anglers, teaching them, and they so look up to you and, are very appreciative for what they've learned. And of course, cannot go without saying what a fantastic job you've done in furthering fly fishing for marlin, which,
that's
puzzles.
a big one right now, yeah.
It is. It's something I learned how to fly fish with a cane pole for much smaller fish. So when I heard you were doing this, my goodness, what is he doing now? But whatever you do and have done, you've done it with class.
Thank you.
And we are so proud of you. And thank you for your magnanimous contribution. So with that, I want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And wow. What an honor, and to be recognized by an organization such as the Billfish Foundation. I've looked up to you guys since I was a teenager, and I've tried to do my part to contribute any way I can to the organization, because I think you guys are on the right track and do the right things. And being awarded not only because catching a lot of fish, that I got to contribute to some of the places that I've been, Central America and Guatemala in particular. It's pretty easy, or it makes my job a lot easier. I shouldn't say it's pretty easy, but it makes my job a lot easier to you mentioned fly fishing and the kids, to see these kids light up in these areas where I can be down there with them and teaching them how to pitch and cast, and to know that this is not the only fish that we're going to see today. That's a big part of that dream fulfillment business that I like to talk about. I'm not in the fishing business, I'm in the dream fulfillment business.
Absolutely, and to share with folks on the boat that marlin aren't the only fish in the sea is so important, because there's an ecosystem out there and it's all connected. And let me add that this trophy award is named in honor of John Rybovich, who was a leader in yacht design, building specific for sport fishing. He was on the board of the Billfish Foundation, and in his day furthered billfish conservation. And I know he would be very proud to know that you received this award in his honor.
It's a pleasure and an honor to have his name attached to this award. I've been lucky enough to fish a couple of his boats, and I feel honored to have done that and to have his name on that award.
Well, you're certainly most deserving. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
is named in honor of Winthrop P. Rockefeller, the founder of the Billfish Foundation. Winthrop was always a passionate angler and one who was concerned about the status of the stocks. In fact, he went to well-known billfish scientists on the East Coast and asked, why is it we anglers are getting more skilled, we're getting better equipment, yet we're catching fewer fish? And the scientist said, well, it's because billfish are being overfished by long lines and other commercial gear. Lots of big nations have distant water fleets that come from the Pacific and elsewhere and fish throughout the range of the Atlantic marlin, and also the Pacific marlin. So it was when Winthrop got that information, he, with Don Tyson, Tim Choate, and others got together and said, you know, this is serious. We cannot rely on the government to do what it should do, conserve these fish, not only from an ecological standpoint, but from an economic standpoint. Bill fishing brings substantial economic revenues to nations, to coastal communities, and this is important. And that is when Winthrop and the first board got together and decided to make the first grant ever for international Atlantic billfish research. And from his inspiration and leadership, TBF was founded 34 years ago. We're very proud of that. And when we look back at our record of what we've accomplished, we're very proud because today's successes and yesterday's successes all build for continued fishing opportunities. The winner of tonight's Winthrop P. Rockefeller Award is someone who has contributed immensely to the sport fishing business, the camaraderie of ensuring anglers have a way to get out there and fish. And so it's a great pleasure for us now to present that award. Roy, as president of the Billfish Foundation, it is a real honor to be able to recognize you, your entire family, and your company with this year's Winthrop P. Rockefeller Lifetime Achievement Award. I know you recall that when and Don Tyson and a few others were the founders of the Billfish Foundation.
That's correct.
And not only did they believe in science and youth education and advocacy, but they also were avid, passionate anglers. And they want TBF to be the voice of science and advocacy for the angler, for the boat builders. So with your family tradition, why don't you share a little with us about your family and how they got started here?
Well, actually, it goes back more than 100 years, really. It started World War I. My grandfather moved to Norfolk, learned the trade as a boat builder, and that led to other things later on. So after the war, he got this houseboat. He was raising his family in Norfolk, Virginia, and around early 20s, he headed south. They ended up in Fort Lauderdale. He figures a good way to make a living is have a charter boat because he liked to go fishing. So he buys his charter boat, and about 1925 they start charter fishing up the New River in Fort Lauderdale. And that led, after a while, there became more boats. My father fished, my uncle fished. Later on, in between World War II, they would go to Long Island to fish, and then after the war, they headed south again. And there was a piece of property here that he stopped by, and he bought it, and we've been here ever since. So, you know, fishing in the water has been, in boat building obviously, is a big part of our family. And I can say if it wasn't for fishing, I probably wouldn't be building boats here today. But over the years, you know, we've been fortunate. We've built a fair amount of boats, and the business kind of got a little larger as time goes on, and it's just with how do I put this? A lot of luck, maybe hard work, and grace of God, it's all worked out pretty good.
Hey, I'd say it's worked out pretty good. I mean, anyone that has a merit or anyone that's read about a merit knows they are the standard in the industry. All you have to do is look around. These are mighty fine machines. So you have done quite well, but as you say, I know it's got to be the result of a whole lot of hard work over decades.
Well, it's some hard work. It's also some passion about what you like to do. I mean, I would pay to go to work. Let's put it that way, because this is what I like to do.
That's terrific.
And I don't know how to do anything else, so it works out pretty good for me.
Well, that's terrific,
Yeah.
and it's an honor to have you as our recipient of 2020.
Well, thank you. Thank you for whoever voted for me, because I would think it's more of a fishing guy, but and we do that too, but glad to be a part of it.
Well, fishing and building boats, it's all connected.
Yeah.
That one depends on the other, so it's a real honor to have you as a recipient this year.
Well, thank you, Ellen, and the Billfish Foundation, and I'll put this in a nice spot.
Grady White Boats' reputation for designing ruggedly elegant fishing boats is legendary. Our attention to quality, detail, and customer service is unmatched. From our Fisherman 180 and Coastal Explorers series to the unrivaled Canyon 456, you'll find no boat that rides better and offers more fishing amenities. Go ahead, experience fishing at its best. Get the Grady.
The Paxson Offield Lifetime Science Achievement Award recognizes another TBF board member, an individual who has been a leader not only in billfish conservation, but peregrine falcon, sea bass, so many other creatures. He always put his financial support behind research because he knew advocacy arguments are not credible unless they're science-based, and that he wanted to further research because the government was not for billfish. Mr. Offield has put out, I should say the late Mr. Offield, deployed more satellite tags probably than any other person on this planet, and has contributed to more research in different institutions and supported TBF's whole research program. Without his support, we would not have the benefit of all the studies that have been done over the last 34 years. He was truly a leader and an inspiration. And it's a pleasure to be able to recognize someone tonight who is carrying on that diligent work, sometimes tedious, that has to be done, but it is an honor to recognize and present this award tonight.
Hi, my name is Charlie Kaplinger, president of the New Orleans Big Game Fishing Club, and I am honored here today to represent the Billfish Foundation in presenting this Paxson Offield Lifetime Science Achievement Award to one of the greatest guys in the Gulf of Mexico, Joe Yacht. Joe has been sampling fish for longer than most of us have been fishing. He started as a young student in the 1960s and has been our head weighmaster ever since. So it is with great pleasure and on behalf of the Billfish Foundation's Ellen Peel, the executive director, the board of trustees, and all of the great members of TBF that I present this Lifetime Science Achievement Award to Joe Yacht. Joe, you deserve this, brother.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much. And again, I would like to personally thank Ellen Peel and the Billfish Foundation for recognizing me with this award. This is truly an honor to be recognized by the Billfish Foundation. Thank you so much.
Well, Joe, you've been sampling billfish and big game species for more than most of us have been alive, and you've seen it all. So tell us a little bit about how it was in the early days, how you got started, and maybe what life was like in the Port Eads during tournament season.
Wow, that's a lot, Joe. Wow. I was in college. It was 1965 when the president of the New Orleans Big Game Fishing Club, Dutch Braylon, called me and had me come to his office for a meeting. He knew that I was a student, and I was a biology student. I went in bed with him, Paul Coleman, and a man named Harley Halcott.
Sure.
And they offered me a position to work with them, with their club during their tournaments at Port Eads. Port East, Louisiana is located 23 miles from the end of the road, where the road along the Mississippi River ends.
Very remote.
Very remote. And it sits about a mile inside of South Pass from the Gulf. So I did do that. I went down for the 3 months of that year. And within a month of being down there, I plotted my course in life.
Well, thank goodness.
Fish. Yes, and I have enjoyed every single minute of it. I would not trade it for anything. I was lucky enough to come in at a time when we didn't know a whole lot about our fisheries. We didn't know a whole lot of biology about our marlins, our tunas. And I was just very fortunate. I saw the opportunity and I took it, and I have enjoyed it over the years. Lots of good times in Port East, lots of them.
Well, your data set is probably the oldest in the Gulf of Mexico. And as part of the club and all you've done for NOAA over the years, it's just an amazing record. And this is an amazing tribute to what you've given back to all of us and to the fisheries.
Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. Throughout the years, our fishery has evolved. When I started, there was very little commercial fishing, very little longline fishing on the high seas. That came in about 1980. And at that point, our fishery began to decline. Our billfish. They were taking the billfish. And before that, it was outstanding fishing. I could remember a year in the 1970s, I don't recall exactly which year, but the New Orleans Big Game Fishing Club caught and released or docked 156 blue marlin.
Wow.
In 1 year, 1 3-month period while I was in Port East.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing. Now, if the New Orleans Club can tag and release, and they're strictly tag and release now, if they can release 40 blue marlin a year, that is really good. That's outstanding.
Well, fortunately, the Billfish Foundation gives us the vehicle to lobby our lawmakers and provides the advocacy to show people how important this fishery is to our economy and to our culture. Where Joe is seeing dads teach their children to fish, and their children grow up and they teach their children to fish. How many generations have you seen out there in Port East?
3 generations, Charlie. I can remember, Charlie, when you were a mate on a boat.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago, Charlie. I do remember.
Teaching them about fish. How did you do it?
Oh gosh, I love that, Charlie. I enjoyed that so much. Those children would gather around me. We'd take a dolphin and we'd lay it out on the dock and eviscerate it and open the abdominal cavity, and then open the stomach, and then lay out all of the various fish that this thing has been eating, from the Batuna crabs to the triggerfish. I mean, we had a dolphin that it had to have 15 triggerfish in it. And I recall once we had a blue marlin that was 250 pounds, close to 300 pounds, and the abdomen was extended, so we laid it out, and all the children came around. We eviscerated the fish, and I had the scale there, so there was 2 jack crevalles in it, and both of them weighed 17 pounds.
Wow.
That fish had eaten both of those jack crevalles.
I bet next to catching the fish, they loved opening their gut and seeing what they were eating.
They absolutely loved it. Unbelievable. We didn't have the commercial pressure back then that we have now on our fisheries in the Atlantic Basin. And that has made a big dent in the stocks of our fish, unfortunately. But you guys have learned to adapt to that with your hard plastic baits and trolling and sonar. You figured out how to get what fish are left for us.
Well, tag and release and conservation has played a big part, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to commend the Billfish Foundation. I mean, they are the ultimate in conservationists.
Thank you, Joe. No one deserves it better than you, and I'm honored to be able to be at this spot.
Thank you, sir. I am too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellen Field.
All 12 of my grandchildren are in our family business.
The passion and the drive of the entire second generation has really been instilled in the third.
I love working with my family. How lucky am I?
As a family member, you feel a true sense of ownership to make sure that each client has a great experience.
We're going to do everything we can to make it happen. Those words kind of just fill in what we do as a company, as a family. And that's why it's called Team Galati.
There are 3 points I'd like to remind you of and call on you once again for help. Number one, the National Marine Fisheries Service still continues its campaign to approve opening the closed zones off of South Carolina, in the Gulf of Mexico, and off of the east coast of Florida. These zones have been closed to pelagic longlining for over 20 years. And the reason they were closed is because longlining was overfishing many species, including billfish, tunas, some sharks, sea turtles, marine mammals. So the zones have worked for swordfish, which is a wonderful success story. However, all the other species are still overfished. Even so, the National Marine Fisheries Service wants to allow the longline gear back in, which we all know. What is that going to do? It's going to further overfish those species that have not recovered and add to that of swordfish, which could send them back down to a decline. Also, at the same time, the second point, the National Marine Fisheries Service is still toying with the idea of approving some form of longline fishing for swordfish off the West Coast. We are opposing that as well. We are suggesting that they put a combination of deep set buoy gear and green stick there to counter the destructive fishing of long lines and offer a more regionally caught, fresher product. Now, back to the East Coast and Gulf. We will come to you via email, so make sure your membership is up to date and that we have your email address, because we already have a letter to senators and congressmen, yours, that you can just go online when we open this campaign, put your name in, click the button, and it goes, because we need to cover Capitol Hill saying, do not allow this to happen. Lastly, and very importantly, because we can't do the first two campaigns unless we are financially viable. And while in some ways one may say it's embarrassing, it's not, it's a reality. COVID-19 has crushed some businesses, has really changed the economic face of the United States, especially for people who would give. This is the toughest financial year for the Billfish Foundation in our 34-year history. So go wild and bid high tonight. If you don't see anything you want, then please consider sending in a year-end check, tax deductible. It would be very meaningful to us. I appreciate your support here tonight and for the silent auction, and look forward to next year.
Hi guys, just want to remind you that there's still time to register to bid on some really great auction items this evening. We've got some great packages from Yeti and Costa, as well as some amazing trips all over the world. So please do bid high tonight, and good luck.
Now, it wouldn't be a TBF Gala without a costume contest. So we are so excited to announce that this year's winner of the costume contest is... And now we are so excited to announce the winner of this year's raffle is...
I want want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting this virtual event this evening. It really does mean a lot for us, and we really look forward to seeing you on the docks, on the water, or maybe at our next event in February for our tag and release ceremony. Thank you again, and see you soon.